Good morning, good afternoon, Year 9. Welcome to the first of the wedding lessons. Things really start to heat up a bit here. So before we go on with that, do now 5 minutes. What do people do on the morning they get married? Well, here's some of the things that I came up with. They spend time with their bridesmaids or ushers. By tradition, be apart from their partner. It's bad luck to see your partner on the morning of your wedding. Maybe exchange gifts with their partner. Pamper themselves getting smartly dressed and talk about the day ahead. Perhaps you've got some of those or some of your own. I imagine some of you have been bridesmaids and ushers. Okay, a quick check to make sure we've got everything we need. A copy of the extract from Act 3, Scene 4 and the start of Act 4, Scene 1. Access to YouTube and different coloured pens and highlighters. Okay, our learning objective today is to explore the relationship between Hero and Claudio and the morning of the wedding. So your title is Hero and Claudio and the morning of the wedding. And we're following the usual route. I want you to watch the scene summary of Act 3, Scene 4 and write your first impressions about this scene. What is the feel of this moment? What does Hero think about her relationship with Claudio in this moment? That's 8 minutes for that. Okay, why would Shakespeare deliberately place this scene of the women on the morning of the wedding between the two with Dogberry? Well, firstly, it's dramatic irony. The audience are aware that there's a plot and yet Hero is innocently preparing for the wedding with no idea, which raises the sort of tension. To show a change in time, Dogberry doesn't go immediately to Leonato. And then to create a different emotional experience, we switch from light to dark throughout the play. We've seen this before when the scene with Don John's plotting came between the masked ball and the gulling scenes. The gulling scenes are the trick scenes when Benedict and Beatrice were tricked. Hero as the blushing bride. I'll read this scene for you and then we'll do a little bit of analysis. Margaret, troth, I think your other rebatoe were better. Hero, no, pray thee, good Meg, I'll wear this. Margaret, by my troth, not so good, and I warrant your cousin will say so. Hero, my cousin's a fool, and thou art another. I'll wear none but this. Margaret, I like the new tie within excellently. If the hair were a thought browner, and your gown's a most rare fashion, I faith. I saw the Duchess of Milan's gown that they praise so. Hero, oh, that exceeds, they say. Margaret, by my troth, but a nightgown's in respect of yours. Cloth of golden cuts and laced with silver, set with pearls down sleeves, side sleeves and skirts, round underborne with a bluish tinsel. But for a fine, quaint, graceful and excellent fashion, yours is worth 10 of it. Hero, God give me joy to wear it, for my heart is exceeding heavy. Margaret, 'twill be heavier soon by the weight of a man. Hero, fie upon thee, art not ashamed? Margaret, of what, lady? Of speaking honourably? Is not marriage honourable in a beggar? Is not your lord honourable without marriage? I think you would have me say, saving your reverence a husband. And bad thinking do not rest true speaking. I'll offend nobody. Is there any harm in it the heavier for a husband? None, I think, and it be the right husband and the right wife. Otherwise 'tis light and not heavy. Ask my lady Beatrice, else here she comes. Not fantastically read there, but I'm sure you get the picture. You've read along. So how is Hero presented in this scene? Make some notes and add my notes on the right hand side to yours. Everything is as it should be on the morning of the wedding. The women are talking about the clothes and the impending marriage. Hero seems a bit more decisive here than we've seen her before. Notice how her character seems different when we see her amongst other women. Yeah, she comes to life when she's around women, or rather she's kind of oppressed, I think, when she's in the company of men. Margaret jokes about how Hero will soon be heavier because of the weight of a man. It's a crude joke about having sex on the wedding night. Hero is presented as innocent. She doesn't join in the joke. Margaret tries to argue that it's fine to joke about such things between two people who are about to be married. This foreshadows the suggestion Leonato will make at the wedding when he assumes that the man Hero has already slept with is Claudio. Okay, Beatrice as a changed woman, using dramatic irony to create comedy. Right, here we go. Hero, these gloves the Count sent me, they are an excellent perfume. Beatrice. I am stuffed, cousin, I cannot smell. Margaret. A maid and stuffed, there's goodly catching of cold. Beatrice. Oh, God help me, God help me. How long have you professed apprehension? Margaret. Ever since you left it. Doth not my wit become me rarely? Beatrice. It is not seen enough. You should wear it in your cap. By my troth I am sick. Margaret. Get you some of this distilled Claudios benedictus and lay it on your heart. It is the only thing for a qualm. Hero. There, thou prickest her with a thistle. Beatrice. Benedictus. Why Benedictus? You have some moral in this Benedictus? Right, write down a list of the ways Beatrice has changed since she heard about Benedict. Remember, she thinks that that Benedict is madly in love with her. Well, he is, but he's been tricked and she's been tricked, you know. She is ill. She has a cold and cannot smell. She doesn't make jokes with Margaret. She is sensitive to jokes made about her. Right, consider how her changes parallel with Benedict's changes. He also announces that he is different to the others, wanting change to be noticed. He is also noticed to be sadder. He is also affected so he doesn't make as many jokes and is sensitive to those joking with him. And the big indicator with Benedict is that he shaved his beard off. So write those notes down annotate that part of the extract with those notes. Now watch this clip and read the extract from the start of Act 4, Scene 1. What is the relationship between Claudio and Hero in this moment? That's 10 minutes for that. Okay, right, here's the beginning of the wedding vows. The wedding begins as you might expect, but things quickly take a turn. Claudio's behaviour becomes confusing for Hero, Leonato, and even Benedict. Remember, he wasn't with the others when Don John told them about Hero, or his story about Hero. I'll read it to you and follow along. Leonato. Come, Friar Francis, be brief. Only to the plain form of marriage, and you shall recount their particular duties afterwards. Friar Francis. You come hither, my lord, to marry this lady. Claudio. No. Leonato. To be married to her, Friar. You come to marry her. Friar Francis. You come hither to be married to this count. Hero. I do. Friar Francis. If either of you know any inward impediment why you should not be conjoined, I charge on your souls to utter it. Claudio. Know you any, Hero? Hero. None, my lord. Friar Francis. Know you any, Count? Leonato. I dare make his answer, none. Claudio. Oh, what men dare do, what men may do, what men daily do, not knowing what they do. Benedict. How now? Interjections? Why then, some be of laughing, ha ha. Claudio. Stand thee by, friar. Father, by your leave, will you with free and unconstrained soul give me this maid, your daughter? Leonato. As freely, son, as God gave her me. Claudio. And what have I got to give you back whose worth may counterpoise this rich and precious gift? Don Pedro. Nothing, unless you render her again. Notice Don Pedro's knows what's Hero supposed to have done. So note the sarcasm there. Before he thought of her as a jewel, now he says she's a gift, sarcastically instead. Right, how is Hero represented in this scene by Claudio? What is Claudio saying about Hero? What's he saying she's like? Claudio, this is, things have all gone completely wrong at the wedding now, and he makes this speech, and I know you've seen it, and it's very grim. Claudio, sweet prince, you learn me noble thankfulness. There, Leonato, take her back again. Give not this rotten orange to your friend. She's but the sign and semblance of her honour. Behold how like a maid she blushes here. Oh, what authority and show of truth can cunning sin cover itself withal? Comes not that blood as modest evidence to witness simple virtue? Would you not swear, all that you see her, that she were a maid by those exterior shows? But she is none. She knows the heat of a luxurious bed. Her blush is guiltiness, not modesty. Leonato. What do you mean, my lord? Claudio. Not to be married, not to knit my soul to an approved wanton. Claudio. Out on thee seeming, I will write against it. You seem to me as Diane in her orb, as chaste as the bud ere it be blown, but you are more intemperate in your blood than Venus, or those pampered animals that rage in savage sensuality. Well, he's really got stuck in there, hasn't he? He's called her all kinds of horrible things. So read through and underline the things Claudio says about Hero. And here's some of the things that I found. Give, take, described as an object. He speaks to Leonato, not to Hero directly. So it's men's talk, while she's discussed. He calls her a rotten orange. Cunning sin. She is cleverly trying to hide her evil. He says she appears like a maid, and a maid is traditionally very innocent, but is not. Her blush is not embarrassment, it's guiltiness, he says. Approved wanton. A wanton is a horrible word about a female who kind of sleeps around. He thought she was like the goddess of the moon, virginal, pure, but she has turned out to be like Venus, goddess of love, associated with sex and passion, or like an animal, no control over her behaviour. Get those annotations into your books. Right, and Hero has a sort of, well, it's very difficult, as you've seen in the film. She has an opportunity to defend herself here, but she's, you know, you've got to remember that Don Pedro and all the rest of them, they're very high ranking and they're men, and at that time that carried a lot of cachet as well. Anyway, she does her best. I'll read the extract. Claudio, let me but move one question to your daughter, and by that fatherly and kindly power that you have in her, bid her answer truly. Leonato, I charge thee do so, as thou art my child. Hero, O God defend me, how am I beset? What kind of catechizing call you this? Claudio, to make you answer truly to your name. Hero, is it not Hero? Who can blot that name with any just reproach? Claudio, marry, that can Hero. Hero itself can blot out Hero's virtue. What man was he talked with you yesternight, out at your window between 12 and 1? Now, if you are a maid, answer to this. Hero, I talk with no man at that hour, my lord. Don Pedro, why then are you no maiden? Claudio, oh Hero, what a hero hadst thou been, if half thy outward graces had been placed about thy thoughts and counsels of thy heart. But fare thee well, most foul, most fair, farewell. Thou pure in piety and in pious purity, for thee I'll luck up all the gates of love, and on my eyelids shall conjecture hang, to turn all beauty into thoughts of harm, and never shall it be more gracious. Leonato, hath no man's dagger here a point for me? And Hero faints. So how is she presented here? Here's some notes that I've made. I won't read them out. You can read them. You've got 3 minutes to do that, and add my notes to it as well when you've done it. Okay, just 2 minutes, 3 or 4 lines. What's the state of Hero and Claudio's relationship now? This is the task that I want you to upload onto Classcharts. I want you to complete a table, so draw this table, tracking their relationship across the play. I filled one box as an example, and if you if you want to accept the challenge, that's to include quotations, and you'll get more achievement points if you do that. So there we are. I've put the scenes, acts, and the scenes down the left-hand side, so you can go straight to them. Look at them in in Act 3, Scene 1. Hero is talking about getting married tomorrow, excited and planning clothes. So you've got to look at those acts and scenes and draw a little table like that and fill it in, saying what at that point in the play the relationship between Hero and Claudio was. And that's the one I want you to put on Classcharts. So thank you very much, Year 10, and I will speak to you soon. Not Year 10, I am sorry, I keep mixing up the year groups. Year 9, of course.